Hey guys, it's Miss Roach. I'm very impressed with your work, with your coordinates, and with your boats. The next portion of your project, and I'm going to toggle over here to the actual checklist. The next portion of your project, there are a lot of questions. All of these things here. Who is your explorer? Why did they want to travel? What country sponsored them? What was the time frame? What did the explorer find when they landed? These are a lot of questions that you can answer in your Tinker project in a lot of different ways. Okay, so what I've done is I've added a little box at the bottom of videos that will show you how to change your backgrounds and broadcast signals, which is one way to cover all of the information. You may want to add an actor and have speech bubbles. That's another way to cover the information. You might want to do voiceover, which is an actual recording of your voice. Once you have all your facts and research, you can actually use your voice to voice over into the show. Some people are a little bit uncomfortable hearing their own voice, especially me. But if you're interested in that, I'm going to show some videos here. The first one I'm going to show here is how to change your background and maybe narrate your show with your own voice and then have signals that bring up the different screens. So I'm going to go to my Explorer project here. There's my race car. I'm going to pretend that I'm doing my project on Danica Patrick. She's a female race car driver. And so let's say I have my racetrack, I have my car, I have my coordinates. We've gotten really far. Let's say that I want to actually start on a different screen. And I'm going to start on a different screen that has Danica Patrick in it. So I have saved a photo. I'm going to upload it as a background. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to add a background. I'm going to upload. This is very similar to the last process. I've saved a project or a photo called Danica. I'm going to click on it. Now I should have Danica and the track. Okay, see how I have two different backgrounds? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that stage and I'm going to say on start, I want the looks to be switched to background Danica. Okay, which means my car, if I were to press play right now, I would go to Danica, but my car is also moving. Okay, so we're going to need to do some work on that car. I'm going to go to Danica, so on start, I actually need the car to hide. So notice that I'm on my car codes. On start, I want it to hide. It'll show back up later, and I'll have all of these codes for it to move on this map. But if I press play right now and I start on Danica, I do not want the car to be driving over her face. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Just for a recap, what I've done is I've added another background. I've made it Danica. I'm going to start my show and I'm going to start talking about Danica. So let's say that I talk about Danica for, this is just going to be a filler. Let's say I talk about Danica for 6 seconds. Okay, there's going to be a speech code in here, an actual recording, but that's going to be in another video. So right now I'm going to say on start, go to Danica. We're pretending I'm talking for 6 seconds, and then I'm going to find the code that is an event code, and I'm going to scroll down to broadcast. And I'm going to say broadcast R. R is going to stand for racetrack. Okay, so let's pretend I'm talking about her life. I might say where she was born, where she was from, and when I go into the part about she's a race car driver, I'm going to broadcast R. Broadcast means to send a secret message behind the scenes to your computer to let the screen know what to do. If I'm going to broadcast R and I want that racetrack to come up, I'm going to need an event code that says when I receive R, I want the looks to switch to the background track. I also need to, when I receive R, tell my car to show back up, right? So I'm going to find when I receive R, show. Okay. And when it shows, it can do all of these pieces. So let's just recap. I have my stages. On start, I've switched it to be actually Danica Patrick. I'm going to insert some recordings here for mine, but we're not going to focus on that just yet. So I'm going to put some wait time in there and tell it to wait for 6 seconds and then broadcast R. When it broadcasts R, that's the secret code to switch to the track. But if I broadcast something, I have to tell what to happen when it receives that code. So I'm going to switch to the track. I also went to my race car. I did a little bit of work here. I hid the race car on start because we didn't want it to be driving over her face. But then when it receives that R, it's going to show up and it's going to do exactly what I programmed yesterday. Okay, so let's go ahead and go full screen. I want to see what this does. There very well might be some glitches. Let's check it out. There's Danica. We're pretending that I'm talking. It's going to wait 6 seconds. Behind the scenes, it broadcasted R. There's my car that needs a little bit of work on the angles, it looks like. It's not as crisp as Jacob's, definitely. But my car moves, and all is well. You would use something like this if you wanted to start giving those facts that Mr. Ledbetter asked. If you wanted to start giving those facts with maybe a picture of your person as a background, you could have a voice over that background. You could cover some of these facts, and then it would go into your route, and that you have these portions completed. So that would be one way to kind of add some of these facts into your show, by changing backgrounds and broadcasting codes. If you're interested in that, the recording portion of that will come in another video. Happy coding!